Hello dear students, in third midterm SOW you have allocated unit 3 chapter 7, which is bone, muscles and joints. But in this video I mainly focus on the bones and skeleton part. So you can refer this lesson from page number 125 to 127 under the SOW reference 4.1. Okay, let's find out learning objectives of these lessons. Here I am going to describe about the structure and the functions of the main parts in human skeleton system, which include axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. And here I want you to understand about the basic structure of the bone, including the distribution of the spongy bone and as an animal we all do movements in order to find food, shelter, sometimes to find a reproductive partners. These all movements are controlled with the system which made with the bones, muscles and joints. So we can identify this human skeleton as a framework of bones, cartilage and ligaments which consist of all the organs. This skeleton helps us to locomotions, sometimes supports to movements, and it helps to maintain a proper posture. Together our bones, muscles, joints along with the tendons, ligaments and cartilage make up the musculoskeletal system. What is that? Musculoskeleton. It's a combination of muscular part and the skeleton part. That means there's a skeleton and muscles both, bones and muscles. As a vertebrates, human body is mainly supported by internal skeleton and the muscles, which have been controlled by the nerves. Right? Okay.
The skeletal system includes all the bones of the body, plus the joints where they attach to each other. Our skeleton protects our internal organs, provides a framework or scaffolding that allows us to stand upright and move, stores minerals that our body needs to function properly, and produces blood cells. Our muscles, pulling this way or that way on our bones, produce movement. And without the protection of our skeleton, even a simple bump on the head or chest could injure vital internal organs. Pound for pound, the bones of the skeletal system are stronger than steel. Our muscles, pulling this way or that way on our bones, produce movement. And without the protection of our skeleton, even a simple bump on the head or chest could injure vital internal organs. Pound for pound, the bones of the skeletal system are stronger than steel.
Okay students, I have believed that you have got a nice idea about the human skeleton system from that video. Okay, now I have a question for you. What do you believe about the skeleton system? Can we replace it with any other organs or any other stronger material like metal or concrete? Yes, you are correct. We can't replace it with any other material because bones are made with the strongest as well as lighter material which not tally any other materials. What if we replace bones with a concrete or metal? It will surely take 400 kilograms in weight, around 400 kilograms in weight, which we can't imagine with. So bones are perfect as they naturally are. Okay, let's find out the functions of human skeleton system next. As we all know, as a very first human skeleton supports to carry body weight and also help for each and every movements, and very importantly it helps to maintain a better posture. And Not only that, it also helps to protect the delicate organs. We know cranium is the bone which is around the brain and ear and eyes. So this bone, which is known as cranium, mainly protects the brain, eyes and ear from the external pressures and the frictions. And this vertebrae protects the spinal cords from external pressures, while the rib cage protects the heart and lungs. Not only that, our skeleton mainly produce red blood cells and the platelets from the bone marrow of the larger bones. So these are the major functions of the human skeleton system. Here I have included some pictures which helps you to understand the functions of skeleton systems, which I have explained earlier, including manufacturing of red blood cells from the bone marrow. As the next, we are going to identify the parts of the human skeleton system using a typical diagram. Okay, here I believe that you only need to identify these parts because it's very important to your further understanding. Let's start from the cranium. As I explained earlier, cranium is the bone which covers up our brains and the eyes and the ear. Okay, can you see there's a horizontal bone known as a clavicle. Sometimes we know this clavicle as a collarbone. My dear student, if you are skinny students, then you can easily identify this collarbone in your shoulder area. There's another shoulder area bone which known as a scapula. It's a flat bone, and it sometimes helps to connect this arm into main part of the body. So this is the scapula. Human skeleton system consists with 2 scapulas and 2 clavicles. Okay, can you identify this this part? What do you think about this bone? Yes, you are correct. This is the vertebrae. Vertebrae is mainly protects our spinal cords, and here there's another part of skeleton, and it's a sword shaped like bone which we called as sternum. What is that? It's the sternum. It's a sword like bone. Okay, and here is the box like structure which composed with the 24 ribs. We call this total structure as a rib cage, and each and every bone we call it as a ribs. Okay, here there's a irregular bone which mainly helps to made up our hip area, is known as pelvis. This area is known as a pelvis. Okay, we can identify humerus and femur as a long bone in our human skeleton system. Why we call it as a long bone? Yes, it's quite lengthier than the other bones. Here humerus in the arm and the femur in the leg. And tibia and fibula. Tibia and fibula is the other part of the lower legs. Here this is the tibia, and this skinnier one is the fibula. Okay, what are the 2 bones in our forearm? Those are radius and the ulna. This one is the ulna, and this bone is the radius. Okay, our hand is consist with 3 types of bones which known as carpals, metacarpals and phalanges. Not only the hand, our foot also composed with 3 types of bones, 3 types of smaller bones which identify as tarsals, metatarsals and phalanges. Okay, So this is the basic structure of human skeleton system, and these are the major parts. We can identify further tinier parts from human skeleton system, but it is not important for your level. Mainly axial skeleton is comprised with the vertebral column, cranium, rib cage and sternum, and appendicular skeleton mainly composed with scapes and that means shoulder bone and clavicles and pelvis and limbs bones. Okay, let's try to understand these bones from this diagram. This is the axial skeleton. So the part of the axial skeletons are cranium, vertebrae, sternum, this part, sternum and rib cage. Again, let's try to identify the parts of the axial skeleton. Cranium, vertebrae, sternum and the rib cage. Okay, those are the parts of the axial skeleton. Let's find out the parts of the appendicular skeleton next. What are those? These two clavicles, scapulas, pelvis and limb bones. That means the bones in your arm and leg. Again, clavicles, scapulas, pelvis and limb bones. So it's that. Okay, student, what do you think about the bones? What is your idea about the bones? What they are made with, or is anyone have idea about the bones? What they are made with? Any material? Anything? Okay. Let me explain that to you. What bones made with and other things. Bone is a hard substance consists with the calcium phosphate salts and protein fibers. It's a hard substance which consists with the calcium phosphate salts and the protein fibers. Normally, okay, you may have seen a model of the skeleton system in your biology lab for sure. What do you think, students? Are bones which made our skeleton is dead or alive? Yes. When it is in the outside of the body, it looks dead. But it is in the inside of our body, it's normally considered as a living organ which made of cell called osteocytes. What is this osteocytes? Okay. I will give you an example. As we all know, nervous system is made with the nerve cells. So, same scenario is applied in these bones as well. Why I am saying that? Osteocytes is the building unit of the bones, as nerves are the building unit of the nervous system. So, this is osteocyte. We can call them as a bone cells. So these cells, that means the osteocytes, along with the protein fibers, provide a higher strength and the resistance to breakages. Then we are going to learn about the structure of the long bone. Here, as this image shown, of course you can refer this diagram in your textbook in page number 127. This is a image of a long bone, and as you can see in here, these edges are mainly consist with the cartilage, and this coverage of this skeleton is mainly composed with the compact bone, and this middle area is consist with the bone marrow, or sometimes we know it as a spongy bone because it's that much soft than the outside area. This is the cross sections of this bone, and this compact bone is consist with thousands of Haversian canals, Haversian systems. Haversian systems are mainly consist with Haversian canals and the osteocytes. Okay. The middle of the bone, that means spongy bone, is made with a soft material with fewer calcium salts, while outside of the bone is consist with the harder material. If it is a harder material, there should be a high concentration of calcium phosphate salt than the softer material, right? Okay, here this middle area is much softer than the outer area. Outer area is consist with the compact bone, middle area is consist with the spongy bone. It's that much simple. So the spaces in the middle of the bone is filled with the bone marrow. As we all learn, the bone marrow is mainly stored fats, and it mainly manufacturing blood cells, especially red blood cells. So the bone mainly start their origin as a cartilage with the development of embryo, because this is not a short process, it will take some time. As the embryo grows, the cartilage is gradually replaced by the bone. So this replacement process, that means the replacements of the bone, replacements of the cartilage by a bone, that process, the replacement process, we call it as a ossification. And this replacement process or ossification is completing with the birth of the baby. Okay, is that clear? Yes. Now we are going to find out the structure of the Haversian system, that means the building unit of the compact bone, the outside part. Okay, osteocyte or bone cells are arranged in a circular pattern around the canal called as Haversian canal. Here, can you identify this area? This is the Haversian canal, and these are the circular arrangement which bear these osteocytes or bone cells. These Haversian canals made up with the blood vessels and nerves, that means each and every, there are so many Haversian systems in the outside of the bone area, that means in the compact bone, and each and every Haversian system consists with Haversian canals, which includes blood vessels and the nerves as well. These osteocytes secrete calcium phosphate salt along with the protein fibers make up the bone filling. That means each and every black color area, that means these osteocytes are going to secrete calcium phosphate into these middle spaces, and when it connects with the protein fibers, it makes a stronger material which build up this compact bone. Then what happened to the cartilages? The cartilage remains present at the end of the long bones, and where it acts as a cushion between two bones at a joint. We know that each and every cartilage in our body acts as a cushion between two bones at the joint. So this is the basic introduction and basic detail about the formations of bone and the structure of bones. Okay students, I believe that you have got an overall idea about human skeletal system and the formations of bone as well. Here I gave some questions and YouTube links as references to brighten up your knowledge further. So please do these exercises and refer these links from the YouTube. Thank you for listening. Stay healthy, stay safe. Goodbye, my dear students.